Hey guys, John Luxy here, back with a new playthrough. I was almost going to say blind, but this is not. This is Legend of Mono, actually one of my favorite games, maybe of all time. It is, well, the reception when it was released in 1999 was, or 2000, was mixed, right? A lot of people praise the art direction, the music, especially the music, and I would praise the writing and the character and story and world building. But many people did not like it. They were expecting something along the lines of more of a like a Final Fantasy VII, or even a Secret of Mana. And instead, what they got was something a bit more similar to a Yoko Taro game, if that game was made by the people that did the Saga games, right? So, like I said, this is one of my favorite games. We're going to be going through it. And yeah, honestly, if you don't watch anything else in the video, I would probably recommend it to everybody, even if you haven't played it before. The reason is that it is so unique and different. And if you're a longtime gamer like me and you've played tons of different games, this is something that is truly unique. It is... the Yoko Taro thing is very apt, because those games don't really care about... They're doing their thing, and that's what they're going to do, and you can either enjoy it or not. They're not going to try and coddle you and stuff. And Saga games, which I'm not super fond of, but they do the same thing. And we're going to be going through... We're going to go through the whole game. We're going to do every quest, and... I guess now we'll watch the intro, or the attract mode. This is just kind of a, it's a little video that just shows you kind of some of the different backgrounds and some of the main characters, right? And a little bit of the music. Yeah, like I said, I would recommend it to basically everyone that's interested in a weird, unique, different experience. It is very polarizing, and it can be incredibly frustrating at times, but I think it's still worth it. Just because this game is so... It sounds weird, it reminds me of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, because doing that game... You're not a hero like in Skyrim, and not everybody's catering to you. You're just a peon. And in this one, that's very similar. You're just a dude. It's almost like the old school, Dungeons and Dragons stuff where you're an adventurer. You just go around doing quests to help people. And it's funny because even though you do save the world a couple of times, it's someone else's story, and you're more like a side character. It's neat. It's really interesting. And the world doesn't really care about you. It's very similar to our world in that way. But anyway, we'll be going through the majority. We'll go through all the quests. We'll pick up some of the special, special pets. We'll do maybe some of the minor systems. Probably not going to get too deep into, like, the crafting. Yoko Taro, like every item you pick up in that is related to weapon crafting. Actually, same thing here. Unfortunately, like the Saga games, it is incredibly needlessly complicated and obtuse and basically hidden from the player. And, you almost need the Ultimania guide to make any sort of sense of it. Which, I mean, I don't speak or read Japanese, so it, makes it even more difficult. But regardless, I would say give this game a chance if you want something different. All right, let's begin. As always, those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. So here you have your character. Pick the male or the female. It doesn't actually matter which a whole lot. There are some different dialogue things. but not much. You know, they either comment, if you're the man, comment on the character's hat, or the sticks in her hair. We're gonna go with the dude this time, just because I always pick the girl. If you do pick the girl, you there's a pirate ship and the captain's like, "You're a real man of the sea," and the other pirates are like, "Captain, that's a girl!" Every time, every single time. It's just, it's silly. It's silly and adorable, and I love it. The game does have some huge flaws. We're gonna get into those, but I love it nonetheless. All right, we'll pick the dude. You have all these different weapons to choose from, and we're only gonna do one playthrough of the game. There's a default difficulty setting, which is actually fairly easy because there are so many complicated systems, and they're not explained. And so if you screw up, you have to be able to beat it. So the game, the first time, is fairly easy. Once you beat it, New Game Plus unlocks Nightmare Mode and No Future Mode, which are considerably harder, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So it doesn't really matter if you want to max your stats, if you plan on getting to level 99. I'd actually recommend the staff until you get to level 21, and then switch to the gloves, because those will give you... it'll focus your hit points on... it'll boost your life regeneration to the maximum... to the minimum that it needs to be without wasting any more points, and then boost your physical damage to the max, and then evens out all the rest of the stats. So it's pretty useful, but you don't need to do that. Any of these work. The big takeaway is weapon range, movement speed, and stat growth, but it doesn't really matter a whole lot. We'll start with the knives, I guess, just because, or we'll start with the sword. I guess we'll start with the sword, because that's what shows in the picture. And you can use a shield since it's a one-handed weapon. Alright. Choose your name. We have some auto names, right? Including Hawkeye, right? You have all the characters from Trials of Mana in here, I believe. Even some, like, from previous game, like Lester. Lester was the dude in Final Fantasy Adventure that played the harp that lets you do something. Talamond, if you... was it lparchive.org? There's a dude that did a playthrough, and he named his character Talamond because he did an auto thing and that's what he liked. Valchrist. We're gonna do... I'm gonna name my character Chumpy because I've never done it. And there's a point where a character asks you if your name is Chumpy. And I think if you say yes, he changes your name in the character screen to Chumpy. And then everyone else knows you're Chumpy because this dude told you. I think that's how that happens. Normally I say no, so we'll say yes. Now you get the world map. You get to pick your play area because you build your own map as the game goes on. You could basically choose anywhere, not the dark areas, because you need a certain amount of land spaces, right? And they basically all have to be connected. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. There's some little... we're gonna go with here because we're gonna follow the... everyone follows this one GameFAQs FAQ, and the map called Round the Tree Again. There's 3 dudes that wrote the guide. I don't remember their names, but you could check it out. The legendofmana.info walkthrough follows the same structure. And as far as I know, it's not necessarily the only way to get all events, but it's the most reliable, I suppose, right? It's the one that someone worked out and no one else wants to put the time into it to figure it out, probably. That said, if you are going to play this through blind on your own, do what you want. The game is designed intentionally to be short-ish and replayable, right? And the other thing is the way that we're going to do stuff here, you get all the events, but you don't get all the dialogue and stuff, right? Because depending on how you build the map, what order you take the quests in, people move around the world. Characters don't stay in the same place forever. And things change. We'll get more into it, but we're going to lose out on other dialogue that you could get, right? So don't feel bad about missing stuff, because you're going to miss stuff no matter which way you go. There is no way to get everything, and honestly, seeing all the different ways you could do stuff is really interesting as well. You know, you choose one branch, and maybe you see the final boss right away, and you don't know who they are, and you forget because there's all this time that passes, and then you see that same scene in the credits where you meet them for the first time, and you're like, oh, right? So a lot of people look at this as a flaw. I don't so much. So anyway, let's pick this land mass. And now we get I think we get another movie scene. Or no, not yet. We gotta place the mailbox first. So we've picked our map. Now we pick place the mailbox on the map. Select a spot with the directional button and press X. You may place the mailbox on the brightly colored areas. So you have 9 little spots, but you have more than that because we picked a 6x6 area, right? So you can't put it in the water. You can place some artifacts in water, but you know, whether this is desert or actual, like a sheet of paper that you're placing toys on or artifacts on or whatever, that's up to your interpretation. A lot of this game is very unreliable narrator. Is it a dream? Is it reality? Who knows? It kind of lends... It's part of why your character is not... They're the main character in their own story, but their role is that of an observer. Sort of. It's not, you know... There's lots of interpretations. Let's just go with that. So we're going to put our... So if you've chosen this spot, right? You go all the way to the lower left and then back here. And then place your mailbox. Boom. And each artifact you place gives you a cool little animation. And then it's adorable. And then it automatically selects it because we maybe don't exist in the world yet. Maybe the world itself doesn't exist. This song's in Swedish, by the way. So if you know Swedish, there you go. We're seeing the overview of our home. The land we just created. Also, it's kind of a weird little... like we're sort of zooming in, right? As if we're an angel falling from heaven. I mean, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of the thing is... There's it's all vague, and you could interpret it in a couple of different ways. I have my own personal theory, but yeah. 9 centuries ago, the mana tree burned to ashes. The power of mana lived on inside mana stones, enchanted instruments, and artifacts. Sages fought with each other for control of these last remnants of mana. Right. So every game, it seems like the mana tree gets destroyed. This one, it starts off already destroyed. And one of the fan theories is that this game is sort of like how your life flashes before your eyes as you're dying. They think this game is the mana tree remembering its life as it burns to death, which is pretty dark. I don't think that's the case. But I mean, maybe we'll get into that. I like to ramble, so yeah. All right. Then, after hundreds of years of war, as the power of mana began to wane, those who sought it grew scarce, or scarce, and the world returned to peace. After that, mankind grew afraid to desire, their hearts filled with empty emotions, and grew estranged from my hands. They turned their eyes away from my infinite power and were troubled by their petty disputes. Remember me. Need me. I can provide you with everything. I'm love. Find me and walk beside me. Love is one of the... I wouldn't call it a theme, but it is definitely a motif. Love is one of the motifs in this game, as well as the concept of light and shadow. So we wake up, we kind of climb out of bed and blink our eyes, and you're off. It's like, what happened? Was there anything before this? Who knows? Well, let's take a look around our little house. I love this. It feels really... I hate the word comfy now. I hate it, but this is very comfy, right? So we have a little cactus dude. Talk to him. He doesn't say much. We have a little bench right here in front of the window. You get another view of that later, but that's it. Little leaves, cactus diaries, 67 of them, all empty. Basically what these are, and you'll see it, is a, well, every time you complete a quest, you come up here and talk to little cactus, and he'll write about it in his little diary and totally misunderstand everything that was going on. I mean, kind of. We have a little fireplace, we have some tea and fruits and stuff, a little chest, 100 lucre. Cool. Then we have a room over here, which is our study. There's... I mean, I always use this stack of books, but I think there's a couple. So we have books, right? These are sort of your reference materials for the game. Characters, they fill in as you go. Little cactus would be our only one at the moment. A shy little cactus. He is a cactus of few words, but he happens to be thinking about many things. Indeed. All right, lands. Home. Home sweet home. Your home is comfortably located near a great tree surrounded by nature. Many visitors come and go. See mailbox. I thought there was a way I thought there was a way to jump to the mailbox, but maybe not. And then artifacts. Mailbox. A few letters a month can mean a lot to a lonely, far-off home. See home. We only have 26. 26 artifacts, and I could have sworn it was 27 lands. I don't remember why that is. Okay, monsters, I don't think we've fought any or seen any yet. Okay. Whenever you fight a monster, they show up in here. And then you have techniques. We start off with a few. So these are all the techniques. And yes, there's a couple hundred of them. But you start off with abilities and then actually special attacks. Right, so these are the ones you start with. You unlock more as you have them equipped, and after a certain number of battles, you'll gain more. After a certain number of battles with some of these equipped as well, like 30 in some cases, it unlocks the ability to learn your special techniques. So, I mean, we may as well go through these now. Jump, might as well jump. Defend, but remember, the best defense is good offense. Shows you a tiny little picture. It's really hard to see what's going on there, but that's ESCAD. Lunge, quick step forward, quick step backward. Crouch increases regeneration of hit points, but while crouching, defense rating is 0. You get healed at the end of every battle, but you slowly regenerate during battle. You know, and it's... I'm okay with it, because some enemies can mess you up, and some bosses can straight up one-shot you, especially in later difficulties. But yeah. Push stuns the target. Cheer, no real use, but increases the power move gauge slightly. Power move gives your special attacks. Spin, stuns opponents attacking while spinning, turns the ability into a spin attack. Oh, we start with some sword strikes. Okay. Yai strike, I-A-I. A sudden lunge followed by a slice through the enemy requires lunge. So we only get one to start with. And then, let's see what we've got, actually. We are Chumpy. Start with a Menno sword and a piece of armor. Jump and defend are equipped. And we may as well equip this mid-range medium damage thing. Right, so power level equipped weapon. You have... Can we look at this? You have plunge attacks. It's so complicated. It doesn't really... These aren't super... I mean, they're okay, right? Piercing and cutting attacks. You have elemental essences. Yes, you can give your weapons elemental essences. You probably won't. I don't, but... And then you have all the stats that they boost and the essence levels. You have mystic powers, which are never explained. Like, this at least tells you, it's like, oh yeah, it's fire, right? Probably does more damage to water creatures and... Or actually, no, there's a whole circle, I believe. And, you know, enemies that are fire take less damage from fire, of course. Mystic powers, there are mystic powers, but they don't tell you. And then, of course, you have defense against strikes, slashes, thrusts, and magic, like 4 different damage types, basically. Right, so this is kind of what I was talking about. Power, raw strength level, and HP affects HP and poison resistance. So if you go with your level 1 to 21 with a staff, it'll boost up some of the things that the glove is not going to do. And then the glove will do a lot with power level, which is your physical damage, and this. Once you get to 93 of this stat, of the HP stat, that is your maxed out regeneration, and you will gain, I believe it's 3% of your life back per second. Crouching, which boosts your regeneration, won't even work anymore because you're maxed out. And you just have to hang back. and your life will just refill. You're not unkillable, but if you survive the first hit, you basically are. All right, so skills, technical attack level, defense against status magic, charm effects status magic that you cast on others, defense against physical attacks, defense against magic, and then luck, frequency of finding treasure, which is only, you don't gain stats in this, but you can increase it with certain pets, because you can have a monster companion and certain items. You can equip stuff that will boost your luck. All these other 7 stats will gain based on the weapons that you equip, which is confusing. But don't, like I said, don't worry about it too much. Items, we don't really have anything. There's instruments, there's artifacts, it's the mailbox, a little check mark next to it means it's used. Events, nothing yet. Stereo or mono, and then vibration on or off. Not a lot. Which is good, because this game is way too complicated. I'm gonna try and show off some of the lesser known things. Right, so this is our little home. I love how it really is nestled like into the tree. This thing looks like an arm, kind of. You have this little dude right here. But we're gonna explore our starting area. All right, you go down here, you have a backyard orchard. Most of the little area, most of the maps, most of the rooms are named, but there's nothing here yet. Not yet. You will have an orchard at some point. You will be able to grow produce, kind of like Harvest Moon almost. Workshops, right? Little thing built into the side of a hill. If you look above this, there's like some stone and a couple stumps. Those change, actually. Right, and then you have, looks more like a storage area here. You have some tree branches and you have just some dirt. This will change, and as you get workshops added, the tops where the stumps and the rock are will change as well. So you can forge and craft and temper and alter your own weapons and armor. You can create golems, and you can create musical instruments, which are the way that you cast magic in the game. You know what I should do? Maybe I should have gone with magic. It's not a bad idea at this point. Yeah, okay. So this is the monster corral. You can raise monsters here. It's the little barn, monster barn. We can't do anything here yet. Normally when you go in, it's like the study. It just pulls up a bunch of books, which is menus. But since we don't have a monster yet, then yeah. It's alright, so we could talk to this dude, but I think I'm just gonna leave. Oh, please don't ignore me. Why won't you talk to me since I'm right here? Well, alright then. Normally you just go up and talk to him, but if you try to leave, extra dialogue. That's kind of what I mean. That's kind of what I mean when I say there's all these little extra things and stuff like this throughout the whole game. Throughout the whole game. I'm a Sproutling. The world can be shaped by your imagination. Did you know that? I didn't. Pokiel the poet told me that the town of Domina exists because I think so. People say this world isn't an illusion, but the Sproutlings know. If you can't find Domina, use your imagination to find it. Here, use this. You get AF color blocks. AF is artifact. This is the town of Domina. People with pure hearts can go to a whole new world. This is supposed to be, from what I understand, it's not quite a mistranslation, but it's more about, I think, Buddhism and like achieving nirvana, right? So you can go to a higher level of consciousness, or a different plane of existence, basically. It also kind of makes sense with the New Game Plus thing, because when you beat the game, it just restarts from here, where you wake up in bed and you have no idea what's been going on. It's meta, I guess, if you will, but, you know. Alright, well, this world is an illusion, apparently. Or is it? That's one of the reasons why people think the game is a, you know, sort of the mana tree having flashback before it dies. Sproutlings are in here, I think. There they are. Okay. Sproutlings, little creatures that seem to appear out of nowhere and end up living in any town. They all share the same mind with each other. Not creepy at all. And nothing else, right? Okay. Let's check out the artifact. Am I going to do this for everyone? Probably. Probably so. Color blocks. The town changes through the ages according to its citizens. It doesn't change to accommodate a new age. It changes to bring about a new age. Indeed. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, I want to show off as much of this flavor text, because there's so much. It's like everything... It's really weird. It's like they put so much effort into all the little flavor text, but nothing into explaining the different systems. So we'll exit to the world map. What I'm going to try to do is... Normally I try and do episodes that are about an hour long. And that's what I'm still going to try and do, but I'll probably break. My original thought was break between quests, but some are super short, and some are really long. So, I don't know. I guess we'll maybe try and figure that out as we go. All right, press square to select an artifact, which we can. Right, I'm trying to remember. All right, so it says select help, artifacts, or mana. You can select the color blocks, mana, zooms out, and then left and right change the mana, right? So you could see the whole map is basically, there's no mana except for this, our home, which has a little bit of wisp, right? Wisp, some dryad, some gnome, and that's it. Now we also have, let's say the top left, it's like a little picture. It's a seed. You can't tell that now, but it shows, it's going to show how much of the mana tree is grown, because the goal is to regrow the mana tree by rebuilding the world, right? And this world being an illusion is the world map that we're seeing. It looks like an actual map. So is it an illusion? Is it not an illusion? Is it an illusion to us, but not the people that live in it? Also, aura, with the little symbol, that's the day of the week. So days change, and it affects the, kind of like in the, was it Trials of Mana? Aura, if there's creatures that are strong with aura, it'll strengthen them and then weaken the opposite creatures. Also, certain events... No, I don't think certain events occur on certain days. Maybe they do. It might actually affect whether elemental spirits appear on the map or not, or appear in the worlds. I don't know. But for now, yes, we are going to read through all of this stuff. We have a few little hint things. Directions, okay? Movement. Place the cursor over the land and press X. Entering a land, move your character to the land, press X. It's pretty self-explanatory. Selecting an artifact, use square to enter the artifact selection mode. Select an artifact by pressing left or right on the directional button and press X. Press circle to quit. Placing an artifact. Press X to place the artifact at the current location. Note that artifacts may only be placed on areas with a white glow. Press circle to quit. This kind of amuses me because it's all stuff that you can basically figure out on your own. That's what they explain. The really hard stuff to figure out, they're just like, figure it out. They even tell you at one point. Mana. Mana is the source of all things. It is made up of the 8 elements of light, darkness, wood, gold, fire, earth, water, and air. Mana is found everywhere, but all places have different amounts of different types of mana. Different mana levels. The mana levels of the area under the cursor is displayed in the bottom left-hand corner. Each of the 8 elements has 4 possible levels. 0 through 3. Pressing triangle displays the mana levels of every land on the map. Pressing left and right on the directional buttons changes the displayed element. It also, our orchard, it'll affect our crop growth rates. Obviously, the more mana of each thing affects that plant type and the speed at which they grow. There are 8 elements of mana. Wisp, spirit of light who lights up the world. Shade, who engulfs all in shadow. Dryad, spirit of life, who is the root of all living. Aura, spirit of gold, master of all things material. Shade, spirit of darkness. Salamander, spirit of fire, bringer of flame. Gnome, spirit of earth, protector of nature. Jinn, spirit of air, traveler of the sky. Undine, spirit of water, provider of moisture, which is kind of a weird way of saying it. And yes, the first episode of almost all of my LPs are a little on the slow side because we go through all of this stuff. I want to read all of it. And, if it's your first time playing, most people would as well. I hope it's not boring. It might be. If it is, you could either skip ahead or not watch, I guess. It's... Elemental, I hope not. I hope you watch all of it, but I also hope that it's interesting. So, elemental properties. Light and darkness cancel each other. Wood and gold cancel each other. It's, wood and gold is kind of a, like a Princess Mononoke thing. It's like nature versus artificial, which has always gone on through the Mana series. Especially, that was one thing that I loved about Trials of Mana. The game itself was kind of but at least the final boss in the route that I took, where they destroyed the mana tree and then the final boss appeared to be mechanical, the Dark Prince, and inserted himself into the ruined stump of the tree. That was beautiful. Some really interesting imagery. So fire cancels earth, earth cancels air, air cancels water, water cancels fire. It's not as simple as back and forth, right? And then elemental effects. When a new land is placed on the map, its mana affects the mana levels of adjacent lands. Lands with altered mana levels might exhibit changes as a result of the alteration. Yes. Certain quests are only available in certain lands when they attain a certain level of mana of a specific type, right? Which is why this one specific path that we're going to do will give you all of the quests. If you just do it on your own, you might never get all of them, which is really sad. But like I said, they want you to replay the game multiple times, and it actually is worth doing because of meeting different characters and seeing different stuff. It really does feel like a living, breathing world. It's weird because it's not open world, but it feels more open world than many of these open world games. It's very odd, but that's one of the reasons I love it so much. Enemy strength. The strength of monsters which appear in various lands is affected by the distance from your home and the order in which that land appeared. Monsters get stronger the farther you are from home and the newer the land is. So as the game progresses, as you place lands, those lands become stronger, and also the farther from home. So towards the end of the game, if you place a land right next to your home, it will be strong, but not as strong as if it was in the corner of the map. How strong exactly, I don't know. It also affects the amount of experience you get. You get an experience multiplier based on the land order. Placement. Artifacts may be placed next to lands. Note that if your adventures in a certain land are insufficient, you might not be able to place an artifact next to that land. That's weird. I don't think I've ever seen that, but maybe I have and I just didn't know it. So basically, if you place a land and there's a quest that you need to do in that land to progress, it won't let you build next to it until you complete the quest. Some artifacts must be placed near a body of water. Some must be placed on water. Alright, so that is it for that. Let's place the color blocks. See, obviously you can't place it up here. You need to be able to get to it. So we'll place the color blocks right here. I don't, I mean, they're trying to show off like the 3D effects and stuff. And see, we have a little sproutling. The seed sprouted. But what I do love, like I said, I don't care so much for the color blocks like exploding and spinning all around. That's eh. What I do care about is like how adorable Domina is. It's like flat and then it pops up. That I really love. And the little smoke coming out and just the little details. It's so adorable. And that's something else, right? So how we see this world is spots on a map. It's possible. This world is an illusion, yes. But we see through it. Like, we don't see the illusion. We see what we're doing. But it's possible that the lands that we see might not even be connected, right? So we're going to place towns and artifacts and other stuff in different areas of the map. Maybe the inhabitants in them can't get to other areas, right? Because we're placing lands from maybe even 100 years ago or more, right? Or the future, right? It's the flow of time in Lordran is convoluted. So let's do we have time? Yes. Let's go to Domina. We'll explore a little bit. We'll talk to everybody, and then we'll run back to the house and read up on them. The impression I get is that it's our character writing in the book, but you don't know. It might be the memories of the mana tree that we're accessing. Who knows? To Domina, and then the day changes. Also, yes, if you notice on here, on the actual game thing itself, the aspect ratio is going to keep changing. Sometimes there are going to be bars at the top and bottom, and I think sometime a bar on the far side. I can't help that. It doesn't account for aspect ratio necessarily. The movie files and the gameplay and the menus, they're all different ratios, I think. And the PS1 just output them in whatever format. It all appeared the same on the TV, so it didn't matter a whole lot. Here, I'm using the Zebra emulator, which I'd recommend. I tried ePSXE and PSXCR, and Zebra is the one that has worked the best. And at least for me, I'm actually using the original Legend of Mana PS1 disc, believe it or not. I mean, I may or may not have ripped it into an image file on my computer, but I do have a actual CD-ROM or DVD, and I put the disc in it, and you can run it on this. So if that's something you want to do, you could do that. So this is Domina. It even, like, we're walking on the map itself, which is, I don't know, I just love this. And you have clouds and stuff. It's so adorable. Hey. At least give me your name. Lazul. We saw him in the intro. There he goes. He's walking away. Jeez. He makes me sick. Alright, we gotta talk to him fast. I'm Duelle, Onion Warrior. Yeah, humans are sort of the minority in this game. Everyone is some sort of brand of non-human. My friend Tipo is in the shopkeeper's house. Meet me there if you want to talk. Oh, we're going to. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Mark's room. Not many people know about this, I'm guessing. Because most people are either going to go talk to the Sproutling, or they're going to go into the bar, I think, where Elazul went. But if you beat Tipo into the door that he's going into, you get this extra little scene. Well, you must be new around here. You're also pretty level-headed not following that guy into the tavern. My name is Duelle, an onion warrior, as you can see. And over there is Tipo, the dove pot. Isn't she just dovely? That's a dove, or very dovely? Let's say that's a dove. She's a magical creature. She's full of water. Don't lie to him. It's sophistication I'm full of. We have a magical teapot that speaks in a Cockney accent? Is that the right word? Oh yeah? Then don't let Niccolo push his junk on you. Well, so Tipo, or we're gonna talk to all of them. An adventurer, eh? You should at least get some bronze gloves at the shop. And don't forget to equip them. Hit the start button to make your preparations. I'll probably be teaching you about the battle system, so leave that to me. Even if I'm just an onion warrior, I'm still a warrior. Duelle, whatever is an onion warrior? How should I know? We'll see where Duelle ends up. I think he just stands right here. Wait, is he going somewhere else? Oh no, he just kind of paces back and forth. Well, we're gonna keep talking to Duelle. Ha ha ha, very good. It's important to keep asking questions like that. Most people only have a single line of dialogue. Some of them have two, and but some have a lot, like Duelle here. My only advice is you pick up some bronze gloves at the shop. Mark is always doting over Rachel. To battle is to ask yourself who you really are. I love stuff like this. This, and little things like this that are kind of incidental and just kind of like throwaway lines, but are actually like really deeply philosophical if you actually think about them. This game is full of stuff like this, and this is one of the reasons I love this game. And you are an onion warrior. Hey, don't judge a book by its cover. But inside, you're hollow. Certainly sounds like an onion to me. So, yeah, Duelle's hollow on the inside, and Tipo's full of water, so, you know, whatever. I've never thought about my insides. Alright, let's talk about combat inside a dungeon sometime, okay? Who wants to talk about fighting inside a house? Let's head to a dungeon. Alright, and then we've exhausted all of Duelle's dialogue. Let's talk to Tipo. There was a scary bloke here just now. He said, I'm looking for me lost girlfriend. Have you seen her? So I says, no, I haven't. Honest, Gov. But then he said I was lying, and he started threatening me. Maybe he was a stalker. Blimey. I cannot do the accent. I'm so tired from bouncing around all day. Ain't it tea time yet? Ladies look best when we're a wee bit on the plump side. Right, Tipo's female. Gents go for lasses like me, and don't you forget it. I do like tea. Alright, so there we go. We have a couple... Tipo has a couple different dialogue, exhausted dialogues. Let's talk to Mark. I thought getting Rachel a job would help cheer her up, but now I hardly get to see her anymore. Oh yeah, let me give you this book about weapons, armor, and instruments. Look it over in your study, and feel free to check out our shop. You received the Equipment Encyclopedia. Thought getting Rachel a job would cheer her up. Alright, let's go upstairs. Rachel's room. This is Rachel's room. And Mark's room. How much money do we have? 100. Well, let's go out this way. Items, Knights of Gemma. There's all these little callbacks to previous games in the series. There is a petrified child right here. I don't think anything ever comes of this, by the way. I think someone talks about it, but anyway. And just walking up initiates conversation. This is Jennifer. We're gonna see her later. She and Mark take turns minding the store. They each have a day off, right? So we could buy or sell an item. Do we have any? No items available. There you go. I don't think I've ever seen this screen. We could... Do we want a staff? I guess I should have picked the staff to start with. Because I want to use some magic. I want to go for a magic build this time around. Or do I? I don't know. Tell you what, we'll pick the staff. And now we're weak. But it's okay. Alright, bronze staff. Menos is a type of material, it's a bronze. Yeah, so we're losing... Right, unusable STs removed. Do we have any STs? No. None yet. That's fine. Alright, well, we wasted some money. That's fine. Go out the door here. We're in the center of Domina. I love all these little touches, right? Like a clothesline. Right? A little mailbox. Let's talk to the Sproutling. I'm a Sproutling. We've got no souls, you know. There are many of us, but we are all one. I like the ground. I like birds and insects. I also like, you know, counting stars. You know, there has to be a lot of stars. I'm a Sproutling. We've got no souls, you know. Right, so they're basically a hive mind. Kind of. Alright, so we have a exit this way. We can go into here. But we won't do that just yet. In Mana's Blessing. Please, feel welcome. I'm Miss Yuka, the keeper of this inn. Alright. We'll save. We haven't saved yet. Alright, I'm gonna save over my little test recording area, Mar. We still have a couple minutes. Alright. So there we go. We're chumpy. And yes, by the way, 2-player control. Mana has been known for having it's being like a multiplayer game. Before multiplayer games were... I mean, Secret of Mana is kind of like the first multiplayer, even up to 3 players, action RPG. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. This one continues the tradition, but it's a little more rough. Because your 2-player can only control either... I don't think you can control NPCs. I think you can either control your pets, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you can control the NPCs and not the pets. Regardless, it's suboptimal, except what you can do is use a character, a main character from another file, which is interesting. That's my little Pee-wee. He's quite fragile, so leave him be. Please leave him be. If you talk to it 10 times, he basically explodes, and then you fail a quest. Alright, guest room, nothing in here. We'll go up here. Steal some treasure. Bird meat. It's a crafting thing, believe it or not. Mana's blessing, yeah. And then here we have, I'm selling the minerals of mine around here. What do you have? Right, so stuff, lots of stuff. You have some stones, which are mana stones, which remember, these are what people are fighting over. And then you have some fabric, some stone, and some wood and metal. Now these are also they're named after, like Forsena, towns in the previous game. Although unfortunately this game was basically Secret of Mana 3, but not. I mean, it was supposed to be the fourth in the series, but it wasn't. Right, this is the house you can, if you bring a, I don't remember how it works. It's not super important, but that's how you load another character from another save file. Crap. Let's stop for today. We'll go back and check out the stuff at the end of the next quest. For now, we'll just save. I don't even know if I'm going to go in there. Not now or not. Man, there's so much. It's it's just, yeah. Yeah, anyway. Alright guys, well that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. It only gets better from here. It only gets better from here. I realize this episode is probably a little bit on the slow side because we're going through all the tutorial stuff, and we're reading everything. There's going to be a little more of that the next time because, you know, talking to everybody is how you learn. But honestly, this world is a character itself. And so I just love talking to everybody and learning all that we can about the world. The combat is pretty fun too, but yeah. So, one thing that I do like to do is a unique positive moment at the end of every episode. And what that is, if you haven't followed this channel before, is it's essentially a way to reframe your perspective and thus increase your own happiness or reduce your unhappiness. Because everything's so negative. You know, the news, current events, and we're designed to focus on the negative because that's what keeps us alive. But, you know, long term, and especially in this world where it's just like info saturation, we just get bogged down. And so a way to get more neutral is to focus on the positive. And so you're supposed to find 3 unique positive things every day, and you're actually supposed to write them down right before you go to bed. And that actually trains you to search for positive moments. But here on the channel, we only do 1 per episode. So for me, and it's a unique thing, it can't be like, I had pizza. I mean, you can, but you gotta change it up, right? So you can't use the same one every single day. Today would be the zebra emulator. It works the best out of the ones that I've tried. So that's mine. Hopefully your guys is just as good as mine, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. And I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.